Okay, 140 people, 150. Okay. Mm, Okay, 35. Let's see. Good to go. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and good day to everyone. Today we do the fifth episode of season 7. I'm Ashfaq Ahmed, anchor of PMI Chapter Exchange. I'm also the vice president of PMI Mumbai Chapter. This year we would like to do 12 events. This is the fifth one, and we have 7 more in store. Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge the current volunteers of Chapter Exchange program. May I please ask our volunteers who are available today to say hi to our audience. Priscilla, you want to say hi to our audience, please?
Sure, thank you. Welcome. I'm speaking from Brazil. It's morning here, 11 a.m. So I wish you all enjoy the session today.
Okay. Amod, do you want to go
Hey,
next?
hi, hello everyone. This is Amod Pusarkar, VP Membership from PMI Mumbai chapter, and I hope you all enjoy this session today. Thank you.
Thank you. That was Amod from PMI Mumbai chapter. We have Rangaraj, who could not join today. Tao, who is from Taiwan chapter, had some other activities planned, so he could not connect today. Then we had Sunil Kargaonkar, who is a part of our admin team, and Rangaraj, as I mentioned, and there are some more volunteers whom we see. Moving on to the next slide, we have 6 more events that are planned for this year. The next one is on 19th of June, which is about leading through ambiguity decision making without complete information. So by the end of this session, you will get to see more details about the session and a registration link. We will share this registration link also in our feedback form along with the PDU for you to register early. Moving on, Priscilla, you want to talk about the exchange effect?
Sure. So see your screen, Ahmed.
My screen is not shared.
No,
Oh,
I can see it.
I'm so sorry. Oh, I see. I see. Oh, I was speaking without sharing my screen. Just a minute. Hold on, hold on. Here it is. You able to see the screen? Not yet?
Not yet. Can you? Chafida?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
You can see
no,
it.
I couldn't be
No,
able to
okay.
see his presentation slide. Yeah, but I can see
Okay, thank you.
you and
I can see as well. Yeah.
I shared it a few minutes ago. Okay, no problem. Please continue. I'll share.
Well, I can start talking.
Yeah, go
So
ahead,
thank
please.
you,
Yeah,
Ahmed.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so welcome everyone again to PMI Chapter Exchange, Season 7, Event 5, Building and Leading High-Performing Virtual Teams Across Cultures. We are delighted to have PMI friends joining us from 35 chapters across the globe, spanning North America, Latin America, Europe, Africa, and Asia, along with many more supporting chapters worldwide. At the end of today's session, we will share the registration link for our June event. Stay with us to get early access. Now, I will introduce you the exchange effect map, which Ahmed is going to show in a minute, which shows how our registrations are distributed today. Thank you. I can see the map now. Across more than 40 countries. It's a beautiful map indeed. And before we begin, please take a moment to say hello in the chat and start connecting with other fellow participants. You can also update your profile in Meet with your LinkedIn details and network with fellow attendees. Today, we are excited to share that we have more than 300 registrations from across the globe, representing over 30 countries. From Alaska to New Zealand and everywhere in between, thank you all for this incredible response and for being part of this initiative. Please note that this session is being recorded. So if you are not comfortable with that, you may choose to leave at this time. Otherwise, we are happy to have you with us. Also, our participants are speaking in their individual capacity. So the views shared today do not represent the official positions of our respective organizations. Next one, please. And here's something special to you. You can also be spotlighted. You can do it by actively participating in this event. Share a quote related to today's topic or your key takeaway from the session today using the chat window. Our team will select one quote and its author will be spotlighted at the end of the session and be featured in our Insight Exchange Nugget. So get ready, join the conversation, and share your thoughts in the chat. Thank you. Over to you, Ahmed.
Yeah, on this, you also see a a QR code for a Google form. So if you have a code that you want to share, you can also use the QR code to put your code on the Google form. Moving on to the next one, here is a snapshot of our program. The Chapter Exchange is a PMI chapter collaboration initiative. We have partnering with 38 chapters and many supporting chapters on this program, representing all regions that PMI is in today. We are also in discussion with other chapters whom we will onboard soon. PMI Chapter Exchange is a virtual community of chapter leaders, community that transcends across countries, continents, and culture. Our vision is to evangelize cross-chapter collaboration and encourage cultural diversity. It is all about teamwork, co-creating monthly events to bring diverse perspectives to our chapter members, spurring networking and collaboration opportunities. And by doing this, we are bringing a community to share good practices within and external to the program. That is why you will notice chapters from diverse backgrounds participating in this program, because we truly believe diverse connection leads to innovative solution. Now, moving on to the keynote speaker for today, let me introduce Jamna Jabbar. She is a transformational focused PMO and business operational leader with 21 plus years of global experience across education, technology, logistics, and enterprise transformation. She currently serves as a director in PMO and business support at Person, leading cross-regional teams across the US and India. She specializes in portfolio governance, AI-enabled delivery models, operational excellence, and data-driven decision making. Previously at British Council, she led global PMO initiative delivering significant improvements in program success, budget optimization, and MVP outcomes. She also directed the launch of an award-winning AI-powered assessment platform across 23 countries. A, a board director at PMI UAE, she actively advances governance and leadership practice across the professional community. I welcome Jamna Jabbar to take on the stage, please.
Thank you, Ashfaq, for the great introduction. And hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to all those who have joined from different time zones and across the world. I firstly appreciate the Chapter Exchange for inviting me to speak about this topic, which is quite dear to me. We can go to the next slide, Ashfaq. How do I move to the? You can move to the next slide. Yeah. So, in the last 7 years, I have had the experience of leading virtual teams across diverse geographies, across UK, Europe, East Asia, Latin America, India, and US, where I worked in British Council and in my current company where I'm working in Pearson. And not only did I build PMO teams from scratch, but I also led global transformation programs, new product development, innovation programs, and also change management programs in collaboration with these virtual teams that consisted of people from different cultures and different countries. And these years of experience actually made me focus on intentionally building human connections and intentional leadership, which I would not have done in a face to face environment. Could you move to the next slide, Ashwak? I would like to start with a quick reflection. I'm sure many of you would have worked in virtual teams or are leading virtual teams. And I would like to know what is the biggest challenge that you have faced in virtual teams? Is it building trust and alignment, or is it the communication gaps, or ensuring accountability of the task assigned to your resources, or ensuring engagement, or managing time zones, and even avoiding burnout? I would like you to share it in the chat. I intentionally avoided technology over here because that is something that is currently resolved in many of the organizations, because most of them have implemented collaboration platforms like Zoom or Teams or Google Workspace. I can see time zones, communication gaps, or understanding emotions. That's part of building trust and alignment as well. Engagement. I think I can see more of communication gaps and time zones. Great. Thank you, everyone, for this active participation. It's good to see those responses. Cultural difference, yes, that's the major one. Engagement. Great. Thank you, everyone, for all those inputs. Ashwak, you can move to the next slide. Yeah, thanks. So let me take you through the biggest challenge that I faced. So when I was working with all these teams with, from different cultures, the biggest challenge that I faced is building trust and alignment. And that's connected to all the points that you have mentioned, like there's the cultural differences, communication gaps. This is because in such an environment, when people are physically apart, there are less opportunities of those informal interactions that normally happens, across the hallways, across your pantry, water cooler area, where you get to gossip about your manager or your colleagues, and that's where the connections are built. You don't have opportunity for that quick clarification with your colleague. And in a face-to-face environment, you also get that visibility into leadership. You get to see your CEO or your vice president or senior vice president, in your hallway or elevator or in the pantry. And unless the leaders intentionally recreate these connections, the teams would become transactional and not collaborative. And when I started off as a virtual team leader, building PMO teams, I did focus on first building structure like governance frameworks, the dashboards, the reporting, the RACI metrics. And I won't say that these are not important. These are absolutely important. But what I learned was process creates structure, but trust is what creates performance. And I saw teams moving to truly high performing when people feel connected to the purpose, to the leadership, and to each other. And that realization made me change the approach to the leadership approach that I had in a virtual environment. Ashwa, could you move to the next slide? So what I learned from my experience is that the high performing teams consistently demonstrate three characteristics. First one, trust and psychological safety. In such an environment, people speak openly without fear, ask for help, they share the ideas. They even admit mistakes quite early without that fear of being penalized. And silence in a virtual environment is very dangerous because the problems would remain hidden for a really long time. The second characteristic, clarity and accountability. You will see shared goals, clear priorities, clarity of roles, people taking ownership. Resources would have their understanding of success measures, and they have visibility into progress of their projects as well as others' projects as well. And clarity reduces the anxiety and it increases the ownership. The third characteristic, collaboration and commitment. You will see inclusion and shared ownership. There will be open communication between resources, mutual support, and very importantly, you will see continuous improvement. They will work towards resolving the problems and optimizing the ways of working, moving towards a high performing environment. So all of these contributes to the foundation for a sustainable high performance in virtual environment. Ashwak, you can move to the next slide. Yeah. Now let me take you through how I built these characteristics into my teams to make them high performing. Firstly, I focused on deliberate human connection. Obviously, I set up weekly stand-ups and one-to-one check-ins. But in addition to that, I set up a monthly team meeting where we set aside 30 minutes or more, or sometimes the whole meeting itself, to do fun activities, games, where people really laughed out loud. They made fun of each other with respect to what they did in those games or those activities. And these were the places where we saw that connections building. I also put in place SharePoint channels where we were celebrating not just the professional achievements, but birth, the milestones, your life moments. And I saw those emotional connections being built, and that is where the usual isolation that happens in virtual environment is actually removed in such situations. The second area I focused is over communicating clarity and visibility. I ensured that every resource had a clear understanding of what their objectives are, KPIs are, the key results are. And they also had a better understanding of what are the organization objectives and key results and how their objectives were mapped to the organization objectives. We really made sure that they had exposure to the big picture. Also created lots of dashboards in Power BI or Smartsheets to make sure that they had access to the data to make the right decisions at the right time. And we also made sure they had visibility into the progress of their own projects as well as the other projects. And as I said earlier, when you have clarity, it reduces the anxiety and increases the ownership. And the third area I focused on, culture of inclusion and voice. Now, in this space, I ensured that we put in place skip level meetings. So I met the people who were reporting to my direct reports and also set up Ask Me Anything sessions. And this was not just done within a team, but even the company who are doing it at a town hall level session as well. And we also put in place culture champion groups. It's like a staff group with people from different levels, but they're all contributing to inculcating those behaviors that contributes towards a high performance. We ran surveys asking how, in terms of their well-being, how they are performing, do they feel aligned to the roles, do they have any concerns, and we actually took actions and put up an action plan that was used in our town halls to show what progress we were making. What happened was that what we were providing was giving them an opportunity to share their voice or voice their opinion and also be part of that team contributing to that high performance culture. And all of this contributed to better alignment, higher engagement, and most importantly, it helped us move very quickly through that storming phase to move to the norming stage. Can move to the next slide, Ashwa? Thanks. Now, we cannot have a session without talking about AI, right? So let's talk about how AI is actually strengthening high-performing virtual teams. Now, when people are in different time zones, it's not always that you are able to attend the meetings. Like I'm working in US time zones, and I do have meetings happening at 2 a.m. my time or 3 a.m. my time. And now that all the meetings are transcribed, you get to see the co-pilot creating the meeting minutes. And so you don't have to go through the entire recording. You're still having access to those actions and discussions that happen in the meetings. And AI surely enhances collaboration and productivity. We use Copilot to search about any information about the project. We use AI to build automated reporting. And all of this is actually creating or saving space where we can spend for human leadership, where we can spend for coaching and mentoring sessions with the teams, or creating those team rituals that would build trust and psychological safety and contribute to innovation and connections. AI handles the repetitive activities so that the leaders can actually focus on people. Can go to the next slide, Ashwat? Yeah. I would like to leave with this one reflection. What is that one thing that you can do next week to strengthen trust and alignment in your virtual teams? And I'm not talking about next month or next year, but next week. It could be that one-to-one which you might have postponed, or a team ritual which you know that would create that connection between the teams, but you have postponed it. I hope that this presentation really inspires you to do that and go ahead. I would like to end this presentation by saying that in a virtual environment, the leadership should be intentional about building clarity, intentional about building connections, intentional about bringing in alignment. Because the strongest virtual teams, they're not built through just technology or tools alone. They are built through intentional and human-centered leadership. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jamna. Thank you so much for bringing this to the table. I am sure that this is a very a topic which has been very dear to most of us in the last so many months or years that we have been working. And I'm expecting that there will be a lot of questions. I'll request our audience to post their questions in the chat so that our team can start picking them up. And moving on to the next segment is the spotlight segment. So this month we have Nigeria chapter as a spotlight chapter of the month, and for us we have Dr. Pearl who's the president of Nigeria chapter to help us understand more about the Nigeria chapter and the activities that they perform. On the screen, you can see Dr. Paul and his introduction. Dr. Paul, are you online now? Dr. Paul, I can't hear you. Okay, I think he's having some difficulty with his connectivity. He was there a few minutes ago. Okay, I think we will move on to the next segment of the session, to the panel discussion, and then we'll come back to Dr. Paul for a chapter spotlight from Nigeria chapter. Let me just start presenting it again. Okay, I will share my screen again and moving on to our next segment, which is the panel discussion. So today we have the panelists that we have for today. Let me just please excuse me because I am working on multiple laptops to do things and it is playing with me today. Okay. Okay. So we request Abdul Rahman who's from the Lahore, Pakistan chapter. So please introduce himself.
Okay, sure.
Thank you
Hi
so much.
there. Greetings from Lahore. Well, my introduction is that I am a senior lecturer and cluster head of project management at the University of Central Punjab. And also, I'm also a project management consultant, mainly in the end-to-end digitalization of workflows. Also, I was a PMI student convener, and recently we had our Pakistan's first student project management competition, in which we won, and we will be participating in the PMI summit in South Korea soon. Also, being a PhD scholar, I am also a project management journal fellow for cohort 2, which starts from 2026 for next 3 years. I have around 10 years of total experience, starting from my engineering job, moving to Australia for my master's degree, working in operations in Soccer House, ultimately coming in academia. And it has been a wonderful journey, and with amazing memories, meeting amazing people. So that's pretty much it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul. Thank you, Abdul Rahman. Moving on to Safida. Safida is from Malaysia chapter. Safida, you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Okay, hello. My name is Shafida Halami. So currently, I am a director of Treasury, Procurement, and Governance for PMI Malaysia chapter. Basically, from tomorrow we are going to have AGM. Yeah. So last term I was a Marcom. Okay, Marketing and Communications for PMI Malaysia chapter. So in my occupation, daily life, working experience, I'm currently is a manager working with a portfolio of IT and user services in banking industry. Meaning to say, it is actually a financial institution in my country. The experience is that I have a number of 26 years of experience, basically ranging in IT industry, ranging in banking, oil and gas, telco, and food and beverage industries. And plus minus, I have about 19 to 20 years in project management. So my education is basically I started with computer science, which I am a graduate in diploma in computer science, and after that I pursue my degree in bachelor in information technology. After that, I actually work a little bit more because I think IT as well require a lot of communication, and therefore I learned masters in corporate communications. I am a PMP since 2015 because in oil and gas industry that I was working in actually forced you to take PMP in order for me to actually run their project management. Back to you, Ashfaq. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Happy to have you here. Moving on to Patricia from Sao Paulo chapter.
Hello, everyone. Patricia here from Brazil, representing PMI São Paulo. It's a huge pleasure to be here with you today. So what about me? I'm this passionate person about project, program, and portfolio management. I've been volunteering to PMI in different roles for about 10 years now. Almost 19 years of experience in IT and more than 12 years working directly with project, program, and portfolio management. Recently, I've studied, I completed my master in leadership decision, and we focus on AI. Yeah, and a little bit of the certifications of PMI as well, because this is amazing that we can have this opportunity to learn and grow and also be always updated on the project management field. Okay, it's a pleasure to be here with you, and back to you, Asfak.
Thank you so much, Patricia. Moving on to Jacqueline. Jacqueline from Kenya. Jacqueline, you want to quickly introduce yourself, please?
Yes, please. Thank you so much for this invitation. My name is Jacqueline Wafula from Kenya. I'm a member of the PMI Kenya chapter. Currently, I work at the Center for Vaccine Innovation and Access at PATH. For, I think, 18 years now, I've been involved in global health, and 13 years of which are directly in project and program management. My current programs include introducing and scaling up vaccines in a number of African countries. I'll give an example of Nigeria, DRC, Burkina Faso, Mozambique, Uganda. We're also working on introducing HPV vaccine in a number of African countries, including others in Asia, Bangladesh, and other countries. So mainly my work is around global health initiatives, and that's what I've been doing for the entire of my career. My initial training is in nursing and postgraduate training, Master of Public Health, and also PMP, clinical trials, among others. Yeah, really pleased to be part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. So let's start with the panel discussion. I will stop sharing my screen and let the stop sharing, and we'll start listening to our panelists today. Okay, good. I think this is a topic which is going to have a lot of interaction and a lot of good details being discussed. Jamna Jabbar has already set up the context very clearly. So moving on here. So Patricia, my first question to you is, how can leaders build and maintain trust in virtual teams when members rarely or never meet in person? How is this been done in Brazil and your areas where you work? You want me to repeat the question?
No, that's
Good.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a very interesting question. When we look to the virtual teams, one of the things that always come to my mind is how we need to bring the communication at the levels that make us bring all the people together. But how to do that if we are not there? So if a person needs to go to the restroom, you don't know they were not there in their position online. If a person is, for example, at the lunchtime, how do you know if they don't tell you? So how we can establish such a level of communication that people are aware of the things that when you are in person, you can see it, because we have this like communication that when you see things happening, the communication itself, it's more transparent in one way. But when we are virtual, how we can do that? How we can figure out the complication or the challenges that the virtual brings? So when we talk about communication is not only speak, right? So the things that we do, the way that we listen, all of that are also communication. So what I used to do with my teams, I had the pleasure to manage teams worldwide in different kinds of programs. I remember one time that I had this program within more than 8 countries involved. And what we did, we used tools, of course. So, for example, we have Teams, Slack, and other tools to connect people. But the connection itself, the technology itself, doesn't fix it. So, how can we do that? There's a lot of tools, team buildings. There's a lot of approaches that can be used, but not one alone can solve it. So what I've learned through the time is that we need to use all these approaches to adapt it to certain communication. So if you have a more technical teams, you need to establish the communication in a way they comprehend and they can get it together. So for example, team buildings with using Miro, like it's a special tool, you can formulate something, but you need to be intentional because otherwise you'll be there requesting activities, demanding tasks, and not making that conversation really happen. And how to build such a strong team where you don't have a clear communication, tools to support. So I always push myself as leader to be updated, to bring all these tools and to try it. And this is one thing that I believe that can bring people together in this virtual way. And now
Thank
back
so
to
much.
you.
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you so much. Moving on to the on the same question, do our other panelists have anything to add that? We heard the West. We want to, Shakira, how do you look at it? How can leaders build and maintain trust in virtual teams when members rarely or never meet in person? When you're working on a global project account across the globe, how do you maintain that trust in specifically in your industries that you work on? Can't hear you. Can you
Okay.
unmute, please? Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, okay, thank you. So I think I mean, I was working in oil and gas industry, basically, working with a global team in which I'm actually, doing projects with my architect. My architect is actually in Calgary, Canada, right? So how do I build trust? So for example, I actually asked for information from him so that I could relay to my engineer in Malaysia, because I am actually a mediator or interlocutor between my architect and as well as my engineer here in Malaysia. And guess what? I actually find the best time for me to basically communicate with him. He was the best time is basically about 10 a.m. Malaysia time, and he'll be like 10 or 11 p.m. at his time there. And basically during that time, we have quite a conversation in which that we are not just talking about the work, but we also try to talk something else about life and everything, so that bit by bit we are actually open up and able to build trust with each other, because trust in virtual team is built through consistency, transparency, and also human connection. As a PMP certified project manager, I mean, I believe trust does not happen automatically just because a team is skilled, but leaders must intentionally create it, right? So first, communication must be clear and predictable. Team members should know when updates are expected, how decisions are made, and where to escalate issues. Uncertainty definitely will create mistrust, right? So second is that leaders must focus on accountability. I mean, from my side, I need to actually trust my team, because if it's not, then it will become micromanaging, which is we try to avoid, right? So in virtual teams, outcomes matter more than monitoring activities. When leaders consistently follow through on commitments and treat everyone fairly, trust grows naturally. Okay. So third one is that great human focus. I mean, human moments like what I did with my architect, okay, in Calgary, Canada, in which that we do informal interactions, so leaders should encourage check-ins, celebrate achievements, even though a small thank you notes and a great safe space to discuss. This is very important for our psychology, safety nets. And then people collaborate better when they feel psychologically safe and respected. But finally, Ashfaq and all the audience here, trust grows when leaders show empathy across cultures and time zone. Understanding personal challenges, communication styles, and work environments strengthens relationships even without physical meeting. Back to you, Ashfaq.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have trust is a very, very deep topic. It's not something that you, as you said, something that comes in short duration. You have to build trust brick by brick with your team so as to take it forward. Moving on to the next question for Abdul Rahman. What does cultural intelligence actually look like in a day-to-day virtual collaboration? We're talking about cultural intelligence beyond just being aware of differences.
Okay, thank you. Before understanding what is cultural intelligence, we need to understand how this cross-cultural communication looks like. So cross-cultural communication is how
Can you be a
we
little louder or bring the mic a little? Yeah. That makes sense.
Sorry.
Please, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so how does first of all, we need to understand how cross-cultural communication works. So it is the study how the people interact with each other across different cultures, and apart from including their differences and similarities between different cultural groups, they still move forward. And this communication refers to the attempts that are made to exchange, negotiate, mediate cultural differences by means of our language, our gestures, and our body languages. So, keeping this in mind, that how cross-cultural communication works. So, something came in my mind. I wanted to discuss that it is more like cross-generational communication nowadays, because we are working with people from different backgrounds. Even if we are on in person, if we are working on ground with people, we are facing differences in our generation groups. And it is the similar when we work in virtual teams. Not only we are actually working with different generations, but top of that, we are working with different cultures. So culture intelligence mainly is in our day-to-day virtual collaboration goes beyond simply understanding that differences exist. Like, for example, let's say okay, someone's silence might mean disagreement in one culture, but in other culture it might be like somebody is actually be thoughtful or taking a pause before they respond. So, and then also different gestures like moving hands or pointing our fingers might be notated as something different in different cultures. So here, the culture intelligence, just similar to the emotional intelligence, like putting yourself in others' shoes and understanding from others' perspective how their beliefs are being built and from where they are coming from. So that makes you more aware that how you need to respond to respect their backgrounds, their values, etc. Apart from that, what I have seen through like living in Australia for 6 years and coming back again to Pakistan, which is very multicultural, just like India, we have so many cultures. And while living in a big city like Lahore, we deal with people from different backgrounds. So sometimes the jokes might be taken wrongly, it might be taken rudely, but in some cultures it might be taken very lightly, and it is something that makes work environments more fun. But for some people, it might be not so. So the culturally intelligent people and professionals like us are actually they take small but very powerful actions, like they help in rotating meeting times across the different regions, giving agendas in advance for more certainty, and building up norms, and then also creating some private channels for these newcomers so they can actually be more comfortable. And ultimately, like when we are working in cross-cultural teams, being English being the international language, we need to be aware that the people who are very fluent in English don't don't empower or become more dominant in the discussions. And this where the concept of I suppose affiliated or servant leadership and affiliated leadership comes in, where being a really good project manager or a scrum master, we need to like be understandable, that we need to politely give chance to those people who are new and who are still adjusting into uh, with our new virtual environments, and that will help them actually. That will help, and that is what it is all about, being intelligent culturally.
Good. When you're speaking about culture, I maybe in the next round, I want our speakers to quickly touch upon is the Gen Z, when you have Gen Z team members within your team, is do we have to do anything different? I'll come to this question again. So this we will repeat through with all of you. And I also want to ask to park this question, how are you using AI? I know Jamna Jabbar mentioned a few AI related points in her presentation. How are you using AI in your day-to-day activity? We'll come to this question for all of them. So allow me to go to Jacqueline now, but keep these two questions in mind and start working on it so that we have a good interaction on those two. Jacqueline, my question to you is, should leaders adapt their style based on cultural context or maintain a consistent leadership approach across all team members? I'll repeat this question. Should leaders adapt their style based on cultural context or maintain a consistent leadership across all team members?
Thank you,
Yes,
Ashfaq, for that question. I got it very clearly. The answer is absolutely yes. Leaders must adapt their leadership style across different team members and also different cultures. And to be able to do that, first you have to understand from which culture you come from. What are the biases that you hold? Understanding your own cultural habits, and you know which culture is ingrained in you. For example, I'm a Kenyan. Because I'm a Kenyan, there are certain Kenyan cultures that are ingrained in me. And if I work with colleagues from West Africa, colleagues from Asia, then I need to start understanding what are the differences that come across because we come from different places. Other than that, even across organizations, we work in cross-functional teams. So you could be having team members from other organizations working in your team. they could also be coming from a different organizational culture. Even within the same organization, people from IT, people from HR, people from, say, the clinical team, could be having certain cultural habits within themselves because they are in that team and there's a way they do things. So across our projects and programs, we must adjust based on which group we are working with, and first understanding your own, then looking at that other team or person that you're working with, what cultural influences arises because of their culture, then adapting to that and tailoring your approach based on that. So to answer your question as fact, yes, you have to adjust. You cannot treat everyone the same.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you. Moving on to, let's say, Patricia. How do difference in direct versus indirect communication impact virtual teamwork, and how should leaders adapt to this?
Well, that's a great question.
Direct and indirect communication. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Let's define direct and indirect communication, right? Because when you are in a group and you are communicating something to the group, this is a kind of indirect communication, right? You are talking to the group, you have a message, you have like a something to drive that moment. And when we talk to the direct conversation, direct communication, it is you as leader and the team member, and you want to give him a message. And one of the things that I believe that really builds this connection on the direct communication is the one-on-one meetings, because the one-on-one doesn't mean you will have always a feedback to give, but you put the alignment at the table from both sides. And that's a moment where you as a leader and your team member, you discuss about what is okay, what is not okay, how you fix that through the way, how you will commit with the change that both sides need to do. And such a kind of a direct, transparent, and empathetic communication will help and support to build that direct connection. And when you have an indirect connection, depends on the need for that specific moment. Because if you want to grow your team through some team building, some structure, or if there's a gap of in some ability, or if you want to help them to perceive some behavior that is not okay for the group but not individually, you will need to use tools, and not only tools looking to the technology, but there's tools like a brainstorming, and you can use Miro for that, or you can use Teams and Planner. So there's a lot of tools and approaches that you can use to bring your team together. And people matters more when you build such a story behind that. So if you are doing some indirect communication, you need to perceive that, as the colleagues here mentioned, everyone has its own culture, everyone has its own behaviors, and it's a background that all of us have, because we have a past, right? We didn't born today, so there's a lot of baggage that we have from the past. So how we can empathetically look and understand that we are all such a different and unique person if we don't intentionally do that. So this need to raise, because not everybody knows how to deal with that. And in a virtual enrollment, it is a little bit harder. So what I usually do is to propose activities where we get together with the team in moments with some intentional opportunity to discuss on that. I also like a lot to use the Management 3.0. I don't know if you know this approach. It is a tool that is super interesting to use. It's an agile tool. You have a lot of approach there for delegation, for leadership, for team building. So I try to put out all these opportunities. And when we get together with the team, we not only discuss the tasks or what we need to do next, We also discuss how we can grow as people and how we can do things like in a humanized way. As you may know, the technology sometimes it's so practical and rational, and it is or it is not. But the people that is delivering this technology, for example, they are people, they are humans. They have feelings, they have troubles, they have families. So there are so much things happening. So I believe, in my opinion, that as better is your direct communication with your team members, your one-on-one meetings, your transparency, your communication, more the indirect connection will be, because the indirect connection will enjoy the direct communication that you had. So this make the team build like stronger.
Good. We're getting questions from our audience, and one of them is, how do you ensure global teams feel equally included in a decision making instead of decision being driven primarily from one geography? When we talk about, as Safida mentioned, that her architect is in Canada, Calgary, and she's working out of Malaysia, and there are other teams that she's talking about. So how do you ensure global teams feel equally included in decision making instead of decisions being driven primarily from one geography? How do you ensure that, Safida? Can you please help us understand?
Okay, thank you for the question, Ashfaq. Basically, when we talk about the strategies for managing the productivity and fairness across the multiple time zone, right? This is actually something that we want to talk about, because we are in virtual teams, and and every time I also would like to reiterate so-called what Abdul Rahman mentioned, and also Patricia mentioned just now, about the communications and also the cultural intelligence. Because the way I look at it is that we are dealing with the people, most probably whether they are high context culture or low context culture, right? I mean to say that, but when it comes to the communication, we always need to understand about the cultural intelligence, because we always need to ask them, like for example, do you understand? Do you clear about what I'm trying to say? All these sorts of things, because this is very important that we eliminate all the assumptions. We have to be clear in our communication so that people are very clear about the communication. And when we are clear about this communication, then we could be able to manage the productivity and definitely implement the fairness across the multiple time zone that we are talking about. The people that we are having right now is not only one part of the country, for example, the US, for example, and maybe in part of the Europe. Okay, so all this part of the world, we need to actually manage the global teams across time zones, which is require both structure and also empathy. At the same time, we definitely have a culture structure, but we also need to have empathy, like what Patricia mentioned, that everybody has their own kids, they also have family and things like that. Because when maybe one common mistake that is expecting everyone to adjust in one time, one dominant location, but we couldn't be able to, because the time zone doesn't allow us to be in that position. So that creates burnout and unfairness, because we keep on asking them, can all of us be at that particular one place whenever we want to have a meeting? But definitely, a more effective strategy is to establish an overlap hours, for example. Yeah. So where collaboration happens while allowing flexibility as outside those periods. For example, meeting time should also rotate fairly. Okay. Sometimes we need to also understand when is the best time we could meet up. But if it's not, then we can overlap it accordingly. This time around, maybe we follow Ashfaq's Pakistan time, or maybe Indian time. Okay, so we could be able to do that. And at the same time, documentation is very important. Yeah, extremely important, because decision, action items, and updates should be recorded clearly to support synchronized collaboration. If it's not, then it has to be a clarity in terms of our emails, okay, so that we could be able to see that people are actually show and mention the clarity of communication, that they agree to do certain things. Yeah, so these are the managing the productivity and also decision making is much clearer. Definitely, this is actually part of the compliance as well. So all this actually reduce dependency on live meetings and keeps everybody aligned, right? And leaders, especially us as a project manager, should focus on deliverables and outcomes instead of hours online. So visibility is not, it has to be at the back seat. Yeah, visibility has to be at the back seat, but productivity in virtual teams should be measured by accountability, how they can actually deliver it in timely manner, and responsiveness, that is also number one, in which that if we require certain things, definitely, they are eager to provide you the information that you require. Yeah, and the deliverables that you require, and the quality of work rather than visibility, because as I mentioned, the quality of work is number one rather than visibility. Because when we talk about the hybrid mode, and also what we call we are actually in the different time zone, so visibility is something we have to manage accordingly. And finally, respecting local holidays. This is very important, because I had experience in which that I couldn't be able to to we have a sort of a misunderstanding, because of that local holidays was not being respected by the other side of teams. And definitely at that time we need to do some escalation in order for us to taking care of our engineers, our resources in Malaysia during that time. So working hours and cultural norms demonstrates fairness and improves long-term engagement. Back to you, Ashfaq. Ashfaq, you're on mute, I guess. We couldn't be able to hear you.
Sorry. Yeah. I was acting, but wasn't mute. Sorry. I was saying you touched on many of these points, and some of those key points were about people working in different time zones so as to match the time zone of the other rest of the virtual teams. People changing their times so that they work late in the evening or early in the morning. And the other part that is which Abdul Rahman also touched upon is diverse team with the different speaking language. So they are not, everybody is not at the same level. So it's very important to ensure that you make you help the other person confirm that they have understood what you are saying, because the communication is not on the same level. So bring it on the same level. That is how you build empathy. That is how you build. You also set up your KPIs and KRAs, which is helpful for you. Good. Thank you so much for bringing all those points to the table. I'm moving on to the next question, which is how do you keep virtual teams motivated? Now, who wants to go for this question? How do you keep virtual teams motivated and aligned during high pressure projects with tight deadlines? It's a difficult question, I know. But who wants to take it? Jacqueline, you want to give it a try?
Yes, definitely. And I'll say what I do for my teams.
Please. Yeah.
First of all, is to make the project visible on a dashboard, the program, so that anybody can go in and see what are we handling at the moment, what are the key milestones that are coming up, when are those milestones due, and in case anything is delaying, we provide information on what is happening. So everybody, first of all, gets all the information from the same source. So that becomes our point of truth for the project. Other than that, of course, Shafida mentioned celebrating milestones. When we make progress, we achieve our objectives, we have to publicly talk about it and commend the team members that have put in a lot of effort there. And I also wanted to add something to what Shafida was talking about. When so that decisions are not made from one side of the cultural divide. This is what I do. I try to engage team members that from their culture, they don't necessarily speak up more often. They don't challenge assumptions easily. I try to gather their input outside of the meeting environment or the environment that has that cultural difference becoming very evident and affecting progress. So I would ensure that for these groups, I would still gather their feedback, and that motivates them. They feel that they're part of the team because their input is included.
Okay, thank you so much, Jackie. Abdul Rahman, you want to add something to this? Yeah, please.
So I want to extend this one. So recently, with my team, there was this issue that my team became very stagnant because they couldn't understand a software products, how the software product actually works. So we needed to give a demo to the client, and the team members were like, I don't know what happened, because in virtual teams you are not working on one space and you don't understand that what type of communication is happening on our back. So they became like, okay, we don't want to give the presentation and you are going to do that. And here is where the leadership comes in, that we need to understand where they're coming from. First of all, as experienced professionals, we can actually see through this issue that that might be a problem, that they might be communicating and they are confused and they couldn't and then one person becomes like, okay, we shouldn't move forward. And then here, as a leader, as a project manager, as a team lead, you need to be more I feel like you need to become more centered, and you're like, okay, let me walk you through that presentation and see how things go. And what I did is that I opened first slide and went through them, second slide, fourth slide, and then started deleting things out and made it very simple for them. And then there was this girl, she was like, okay, it's much easier for me to deliver this. And then I reassured them that they have all the capabilities to give to actually present the product, give the demo to the client. And because they have worked through this whole development of the product increment, and they understand what were the challenges and what were how they actually came up to this point when a functioning product increment was reached. So just giving that the sense of I guess autonomy, confidence, and then believing in their capabilities, and then communicating that to them, and then actually showing them that they have created a presentation, and that it's just they don't want to present it because they are maybe afraid that they don't understand things, and helping them to see that things are not so complicated. They are much easier and they can handle easily. So this is how you can actually create an environment of encouragement and to make your team members feel that psychological safety to come forth and face and grow. Mainly, it's not our duty all the time to be in front, and we need to push our team members so they can actually come forth and become leaders of tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Abdul Rahman. Jamna, I have a question which is actually something that we want you to explain us. How to maintain generation gap and AI culture? This is a question from one of our audience. How to maintain in a high performing virtual team across cultures? How to maintain generation gap and AI culture? how do you see this, and how do you handle this in your scope of work?
That's a great question, Ashwak. Thank you for asking that. See, when it comes to specifically when it comes to Gen Z being part of your team, obviously that's a completely different zone. They have less, let's say, their focus time is very less, and they need to see very short, concise communications. They can't actually read long emails or long documentations, and they would prefer. I mean, you see also them that in the video chats or video calls, they would keep the camera off. They prefer to be, sometimes some of them like prefer to be hidden, and sometimes they don't follow the old professional norms of the communication as well. So it's very important that we understand those norms, but at the same time keep a balance where you keep that professional, make sure that the professional environment is maintained. But in using AI, I mean, I personally, whether it comes to different cultures or whether it comes to managing Gen Z, I do take the help of AI at the moment to understand, okay, how to handle a certain situation with them. Because I mean, just like reading about different cultures, you need to read about how to handle Gen Z as well. It's almost like, handling a different culture itself. So I do take the support of AI in understanding, okay, how do you actually respond back to them, meeting their kind of a language to get things done as well, right? So that is very important. I mean, and it happens. I mean, I do use it even across different cultures as well. When I had to manage a resource in Hong Kong, and I had a team where I had resource from Hong Kong and a resource from UK. The resource from Hong Kong would not speak openly, and the my team member from UK would actually bluntly probably provide sometimes the feedbacks. So it's in the age of AI, I would recommend to use AI support. It could be the Copilot is also very useful in that, in getting that support in defining the communication in a way that is working for different kind of groups, Gen Zs and our millennial groups.
Okay.
And it's just
Thank
not
you.
the communication. I would also say, like, documentations also, like, have that different, uh, versions, or, have it in a concise form as well as in a longer form. That depends upon who the audience is.
Correct. Because in a virtual kind of team, while we do a lot of effort to make sure that all the teams across the globe, time zone, are there. If not for 8 hours, at least for a few hours, they are overlapping. Right? So as to make sure that there is good communication across the team. But at the same time, as you mentioned, documentation. So when the counterpart or the other team members, they are not available at the time when you are working, how do you, and if there is something related to documentation or SOPs or guidelines or something that you want. So in a virtual team, documentation also plays a very important role. You have to ensure that if I need something, I cannot just wake somebody up because it's my day and somebody else is sleeping. So it's important that we, as leaders, put more focus on documenting guidelines, principles, SOPs, everything, so that the team members, if they want to go through it in the absence of the expert or the absence of the person who's not available, then probably they can make use of it. That's a good point about documentation. Uh, I want to quickly do because we're getting close to the end, and we also have to do our spotlight presentation. So, a quick question for all: how do you use, as Jamna has already mentioned, Shafida mentioned, Abdul Rahman also mentioned exactly, and you can still add. How are you using AI? I know AI has been a part of all our discussions, all the meetings that we do, and it does help us in creating transcripts, MOMs, action items, and all the other things. But is there anything else that you do with respect to the dashboard? Any tools that you are using which you want to let our audience know about? Anybody wants to take it up? We'll just do this last question for the entire panel. So what are the tools that you are using? If you can quickly let us know. Maybe I know Microsoft Teams is there. There are other.
Maybe I can.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Please. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so maybe I can.
Please go ahead.
Maybe I can get this one. So it's there's this AI hype, so all of us are inside that. And I had this read of an interesting report that I had. It was telling about the professional of the future. And in this report, they were talking about the T-shaped skills. I don't know if you heard about it. So the T-shaped skills, it's like you have a T, and at the horizon and the vertical way, you look, for example, to the vertical, you have like the strong skills, like if you are a financial analyst, if you are a developer. So you have this strong skills and you need to keep it. And at the horizon line, you have the multifaceted and multi-diverse skills. So when I look to that, doesn't matter in which area you are, you need to handle technology in your area. Doesn't matter if you are a doctor or if you are a financial analyst or if you are someone from IT. And in this multi-skills that you need to have, that you don't need to perform like as an expert, but at least you need to know how to handle it. AI is one of that. So for example, if you work in a company that has like the Microsoft suite, in the past you needed to ask your IT to help you to build a dashboard, but right now you can go to Copilot, ask how to build a dashboard. It will show you how to do that. You go to the Power BI and you build your own dashboard. If you want to do a workflow, you can go to Copilot and say how I can create a workflow within the Power Apps. It will give you a structure and you can do that by yourself, gain some autonomy. So I see that AI is this kind of tool that will not solve all the problems that we have, but it will bring us a lot of autonomy in our tasks. And when I look to the leadership, for example, what we've been doing within our team is to establish a communication on AI that make all the perceptions like from the basic to the complex. So we are going to the business areas and we are doing what we call coffee with AI. It's a kind of literacy where we teach AI. And in our case, we focus on the Copilot because it's the tool that we have homologated for the company. But there's so many tools that can help us in our daily activities. And I saw that a waste of time from people is that they don't go there and try it. They are afraid. They are afraid to start. So if there's no intention, that's no AI that will fix that. So I believe that besides any tool that we could use, work on the literacy, the awareness, and make sure that people know how they can use it and what's the challenge that they can fix or can improve with that. I'm really sure that it's something that will keep growing through the time. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you. Abdul Rahman, you want to help us understand what are the tools that you are using quickly?
Yeah, sure. So recently, like I have been doing this AI in Agile Delivery course, which is free for PMI members, and it has really good use cases. So one use case which stick to me is otter.ai. It takes notes of your meeting, so it creates an AI digital assistant for you, just like in Zoom. So the Zoom has already AI assistants so you can use if you're using Zoom, so you don't need a third party. But for example, for Google Meet or Teams, so like Otter.ai helps you to take notes, and it is really effective at create summary and then the transcript as well. Apart from that, you can actually like day to day, I use WhatsApp Meta AI a lot. So what I do is like I just give a voice note to it, whatever. If I have a meeting and afterwards I just give a voice note, it creates meeting notes for me. Even now it creates tables and does a comparative analysis if I want to do it. It is so quick, effective. and I can report it to my superior easily. So do use such tools in day-to-day activity. Apart from that, if you are a developer and if you are in, for example, like technical projects, then make your vibe coding your friend, and this is the future of a new. I think so. Like everybody should learn vibe coding if they have time on hand, because you can create and develop your small dashboard products, your apps for day-to-day use easily, and AI can help you with that.
Thank you, Abdul Rahman. Thank you. Jacqueline, you want to touch upon that? What are the AI tools that you use in your environment? We heard Copilot, we heard Outer, we heard Zoom, we heard WhatsApp. What is it that you are using differently?
First of all, before I found which tools to use, I found a free course, PMI overview, AI overview for project managers. And it listed a number of tools in there, which people are using. And what was most useful for me was how to create the commands to put into the generative AI.
Okay, I think your you just I think you have having some internet problem. Safida, while we come back for Jacqueline, can you quickly?
I think what
okay,
for me I find important is how to give information so that you can get an output that makes sense. How to create a command. So that's what I'm working on. I'm creating my own command, say for generating a risk register, or and so many other tools and processes that we use.
Very good. Yeah. Good one. Safida, you want to add to that? Any tools?
Yeah, basically the tools that I am actually using at current moment is basically, in my environment, if you want people to deliver, we basically use ITSM tools, okay, in which that we create tickets and we actually provide the particular task to some people. And then definitely we do have a Kanban board. Okay, it's a traditional. We can actually use it as traditional, and also we also have a tools for the Kanban board to make sure that what is progress, what is going to finish and everything. And we also could be able to see sort of a certain process flow that we already have at this current moment, and we could actually do it as an agentic AI. In my environment, we basically use Copilot, and so we also see what are the use cases that we can actually create, and definitely, aside using a generative AI and requesting AI to create something, like what Jacqueline mentions, we need to understand the prompt engineering completely, so that we could actually put it into our agentic way, agentic AI, so that it could actually produce it. We just input something, the rightful inputs, and then there will be some outputs out of it. Definitely. It has to be a correct prompt engineering and instructions. Yeah, back to you, Ashfaq.
Thank you so much. Thank you. In every sentence, we have a few words, which is another topic for discussion. So I think we will stop it now. We are running out of time, and we still have to do a spotlight presentation. So thank you, panelists. Thank you so much for spending your time and helping our audience understand on this very important topic of building and leading high-performance virtual team across culture. Thank you. We would like to hear you again in other presentation, other sessions. So moving on to the next discussion, I'll just start sharing my screen. Dr. Paul, can you please join in? Dr. Paul, are you there? I can't hear you again. Dr. Paul, I can't hear you. You are still on mute. Can you speak, please? Left the stage. Okay. So while he's away, it's not right that he maybe I think he should be back soon. Dr. Paul, let us know once you are back. Meanwhile, I'll quickly go through the presentation so that we have the audience know about how Paul City chapter, how the Nigeria chapter is doing. So once you are back, please speak up because we could not hear you. I'm quickly going through the presentation. This is the spotlight for the month, which is the PMI Nigeria chapter. If anybody else is able to hear Dr. Paul, please let me know. This looks like a 20-year celebration which they did recently in 2025. And they were founded in 2005 and with 3,197 active members. So on the right hand side, we see the board members from the chapter. And Dr. Paul has been I'm presenting it. Is Dr. Paul there? Can you hear Dr. Paul? I can't. Okay. Movement so far, they have 3,000 plus active members. I wanted to ask him about the retention rate. They have a 95% retention rate with 40% membership growth. So that's, I think, really very high on chapter. So I wanted to maybe understand from him how they are achieving this retention rate of 95 plus percentage, 1,694 certified members, 10 plus active chapter teams. Very good movement so far. Their vision is anchored on a bold growth strategy, data-driven engagement, structured mentoring, stronger onboarding, welcoming new members with clarity, warmth, and purpose, expanded national and corporate impact, growing our reach across more states and corporate partnerships. And then fifth vision is empowering students and youth. So develop student clubs across post-primary tertiary institutions. So they have taken care of the students, they have taken care of the corporates, they have taken care of onboarding, mentoring, and data-driven, using analytics to personalize and improve member experience. Member value, new member branch, chapter meeting, and volunteer member spotlight. Flagship events are annual conference and boot camp. Dr. Paul, I cannot hear you still.
Oh, but now, Hamid, am I
Yeah,
audible?
So you want to go ahead?
Yeah, no
Sorry,
problem.
Yeah.
I had to relog in severally. So sorry about that. Thanks, participants.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so we're very strong when it comes to member value proposition, and currently in the new membership model of PMI, we have over 10,000 members that we're managing. Currently, we have over 3,000 active members. What that means is we have over 3,000 potential volunteers that we're using to drive across different value streams in the Nigerian markets. Currently, we're prioritizing youth inclusion and student engagement. Sorry, can you go to the next slide?
Yes.
We have quite a lot of young professionals and students in Nigeria, and we are focusing majorly on extending PMI value stream to them. In achieving this, we've identified strategic partners within both the public and the private sector. We have alliances and partnership established with organizations like Hamaco, MTN Nigeria, Post Bank Nigeria, and of course, federal government. Currently, we're working towards signing a memorandum of understanding with federal government so that we can largely stand at the point of influencing curriculum setup around project management across university, so that right from undergraduate studies, we can have students, imbibed project management skill sets. Sorry, the next one. And one thing that is peculiar about Nigeria is in-person engagement, and that's why we are taking it upon ourselves to move into universities and school environments to actually inculcate these skill sets to them. Working with our partners like Jobberman and the AMAPRO Foundation, we're currently training and transferring knowledge to students in schools and universities. And to cap this, we've started the process of setting up student clubs in university. We have about 2 or 3 in the pipeline, one running currently in one of the Nigerian university, and we hope before the end of this year, we'll scale this to have a number of student clubs where students can directly be benefiting from project management values. And the next one. And also, because we have our members spread across different locations and regions in Nigeria, we're also scaling our outreaches, whereby we'll be able to take our programs and initiatives closer to our members, focusing on growth. Like I said, we have over 10,000 data potential members that we're working with. We want to ensure that we have a full conversion of this number into Project Management Institute membership. And we're also going to extend the value deeply into the public sector, whereby we have full participation of the government, both at the federal and the state level. Currently, we have a memorandum of understanding with one of the states, even at the global level, becoming a Global Executive Council member of PMI. We want to extend this to other 35 states of the country. So it's something that is really challenging, and we hope that we are going to also scale our partnership with other chapters to see how to bring more into the web. Finally, just a couple of weeks ago, we went into agreement with 2 other chapters within West African region, that's Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, again, for us to be able to scale our impact to students through our student clubs. And this year we're going to be we've started the process of what we call the Student Club Hackathon. This is a way for us to identify potentials among students and see how to promote them in becoming an essential part of solving problems in our countries. Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to showcase this. Thank you, Ahmed. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. And this was really impressive. As a chapter, you did really good collaborations and others. And I will quickly. I could not build this up today, but I have a few quotes that I want to read. There is a quote from Isam Sultan which says, "Your communication style reflects true leadership through clarity, professionalism, and the ability to inspire collaboration and trust among others." I'll repeat from Isam Sultan, "Your communication style reflects true leadership through clarity, professionalism, and the ability to inspire collaboration and trust among others." There is one more from Umar Qureshi from Tata Capital. He says, "Cultural intelligence is the ability to understand, adapt, and work effectively with people from different cultures, background, and ways of thinking. It becomes especially valuable in global career leadership roles." I think we saw this multiple times during our event. There is another one from Emmanuel Williams, and the quote is, "Emotional and cultural intelligence are essential, but one thing virtual teams should not write off or underestimate is the power of writing things down. The paper makes it easy to clarify things." This requires more thoughts. But the other one that we have is the last one for today is from Lokit Ramchandran. "Awareness in cross-cultural communication regarding race, community, and religion is essential for building authentic connections and avoiding unintended harmful stereotypes." I want to read this again. "Awareness in cross-cultural communication regarding race, community, and religion is essential for building authentic connections and avoiding unintended harmful stereotypes." Thank you, everyone. Thank you for putting your quotes together. We could not identify the one of the. I think most of these quotes were very good. Today we had 843 registration and 323 people joined the event. So this one is the last week's one, and I'll wait for a few minutes for you to capture this. This is for our event, which is happening on 19th June, where the topic is leading through ambiguity, decision making without complete information. I think this is an extension of our today's event, where we will talk about more culture related things. And see, we've invited panelists from Mumbai, Taiwan, Greece, Bajio, Ghana, and UAE. So let's see who all are able to participate. Just take a snippet of this QR code. I will just also put the I'll put the link for you to. I'll put the link for you to register for the upcoming event. Okay, the link will be shared in the PDF emails. And I think with this, we are at the end of the session today. Thank you so much for your participation, and looking forward to more such sessions going forward. And my quick question to the panelists is: we have 2 questions that we want you to answer so that we can build up the nugget document. And for our audience, all these sessions are recorded. They are available on YouTube and also on our chapter website for your reference going forward. So if anybody is interested in knowing the presentations or anything, they can go through the videos, which will be posted in a week's time. Priscilla, anything we want to add? You are on mute. I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. I could. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your participation. And thanks a lot. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Thanks, Abdul.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, Dapna.
Yeah, bye.
Thanks, Afida. And we'll be sending you a certificate from the Mumbai chapter. I request you to help us post it on our social media. And I need those 2 questions because we need to publish the nugget. And if you, I'll share the link, the Google Form link, on our WhatsApp chat so that you can answer those 2 questions, and we'll put it on the World Nugget document for insights. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Ashfaq. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Paul.
Bye.
Thank you for making it today. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.